We chose this hotel solely because of the ratio of price and location. It is surprising that for such a price, we could stay for a week almost in the very center of Prague. According to satellite photos on the internet, we found the hotel building in one of the courtyards of the Jewish quarter, not far from the famous Jewish cemetery. A quiet and peaceful place, and at the same time, a 15-minute walk to Old Town Square. On the website for hotel reservations, it was written that we bought the last room for these dates. We did not find other reviews of this hotel on the internet. Upon arrival, however, we circled the area for a long time until we found a small 3-story house with an inconspicuous sign and a door that looked more like a front door, wedged between 2 buildings. But we expected something similar from 2 stars, so we didn't get too upset and entered. A fat woman who did not know English was sleeping at the reception desk. We introduced ourselves, and she didn't even look at our papers. Without saying a word, accepted the card payment and gave us the keys. Not electronic cards, but steel-figured keys for locks with large holes. We still giggled at the Gothic setting. It turned out that our room was on the 3rd floor, and in order to get to the stairs, we had to walk for a long time along a half-dark corridor with some pictures in heavy frames. It seems that there were photos of old Prague, but my husband says that he looked at them better, and the photos did not show views of the city, but photos of some terrible events, such as executions or persecutions. We were even more amazed by the flights of stairs. Instead of glass windows, they had colored windows depicting stylized sea monsters, squids, octopuses, and something else rather disgusting, the name of which I do not know. The stains gave little light, and besides, they had clearly not been washed for a long time. We, of course, were blown away by the place, but overall, we even liked the atmosphere. There were 3 rooms on the floor, and they were located far from each other. During this time, we did not meet a single person. The silence was grave. The room was unexpectedly clean, but shabby. The window looked out into the courtyard, with a hollow brick wall opposite, overgrown with ivy. There was a small abandoned garden under the window, a bed, a small shower room with a toilet, an old cabinet with carvings in the form of flowers, a small TV. That's all we found in the room. We quickly freshened up, changed clothes, and went for a walk. We returned relatively late. The door to the hotel turned out to be closed. I had to knock. Then the door opened by itself, as if someone opened it from the inside, but we did not see anyone. A table lamp was on at the reception desk, but there was no one there either. We went to the room along that dark corridor. The light wasn't on in it, and here for the first time, I experienced an unpleasant feeling. These photos glowed in the dark, or rather, the people in these photos flickered barely perceptibly, especially the places where their eyes were. Only the faint glow of the light bulb by the stairs did not give me a reason to scream and run out of the hotel. As soon as we approached the stairs, the light bulb began to blink, and it seemed to me that the figures on the windows had come to life. In short, my husband saw all this too, but for some reason, he decided that this is entertainment for tourists, pressurized atmosphere. Again, absolute silence reigned, and it really seemed that there was not a single living person in the hotel. In the middle of the night, we woke up to someone mumbling behind the door. Well, that is, the meowing was not an animal, but clearly a human being. but somehow mournfully and violently. The husband said that this was too much, but he did not start to break down, but first called the reception. Of course, no one answered, and then took a chair, and with it upside down, sharply opened the door. It was pitch black there. The light on the floor was not lit at all. We heard the tramp of running feet, as if a 3-year-old child had run away. My husband wanted to go to the administrator, but I persuaded him not to go. We didn't have a flashlight, but we had to cross the stairs and a terrible corridor, and I was 100% sure that there would be no one at the reception. We locked ourselves up. I went to the bathroom to wash my face. When I was walking back, my gaze fell on the keyhole. That's when I screamed at the top of my voice. There was a white eye staring at me. I flew onto the bed and curled up in a corner. My husband was also frightened and did not open the door, although it was quite possible to blame everything on my nerves. He just inserted the key into the well, and then it turned out that this was not my imagination. They began to pull the door from that side and try to push out the key. From the corridor behind the door, some nasty growling was heard, and there was a smell of burnt wool. Moaning was heard again. I fell into hysterics. The husband began to call the police, but they hardly understood what he wanted. He only shouted the address of the hotel into the phone. Then, as the apotheosis of this night, someone knocked on the window, on the 3rd floor. The husband tore the curtains in anger, but since the light was on in the room, we saw only our own reflection, although it seemed to me that something white jumped up. Something ran over us on the roof. We heard the sound of footsteps on the tin covering. My husband's phone rang. It was from the police. They were clarifying something there. In the end, the police had to go up to us, since we flatly refused to leave the room ourselves. We quickly got together and left this hotel. There was still no one at the reception. We spent the rest of the night at the police station. I was served coffee. The invited translator clearly did not believe us, but the police somehow businesslike recorded our testimony. One of those who went on a call casually mentioned that they knocked on all the hotel rooms, but did not find a single guest there. Whether they were able to interrogate at least someone from the hotel administration, we never understood. In the morning, they let us go and helped us book a hotel in the small foreign part of the city with a discount. We don't know what it was. My husband thinks that swindlers scared us, wanting to rob us. But I remember that eye in the keyhole. I will not forget this look. He was definitely not human.
End of story. Please let me know in the comments what you think about this story